Was it slime or was it like a
slime?
Oh,
She
okay.
has this chemical issue in her head. She tried to mix it with
The same problem I spoke last time it was.
Alright, call the Custer Village Council to order, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Here.
Vicky, here. Hewitt. Mara, here. Wenzel.
Here.
Hoover. Here. Sorrell.
Here.
Powell.
Here.
Is that off the top of your head? Very nice. At this time, I need to make a slight change under village staff reports. We'll add chief of police after village administrator. Just an oversight. With that change, I'll need a motion to approve.
Support.
Motion has been made and supported to approve the agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public statement regarding current agenda items only. Are there any? Okay. We'll need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Support. Motion has been made and supported to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? At this time, we will split the accounts payable. AP without root note, total of $159,691.48.
So moved.
Support. Motion has been made and supported to approve accounts payable without root note. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we'll need a motion to approve the accounts payable root note invoice for $2,140.
So moved.
Support. Motion has been made and supported. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain?
Abstain.
Motion carries. No unfinished business. Moving on to new business. Items for introduction, none. Items for action. Resolution 02-2022. Approval. Approved submittal of Parks and Recreation Plan. This will need to be done by all of the parties involved. That would be.
It's on their agendas in the next week.
Okay. Would anybody like to discuss that?
The only thing I had was they were, under the description of the park, they listed the amphitheater, speaking of it as it was a usable structure. Not sure if it's a good place for it, because it is not usable. I mean, I wouldn't want people calling to inquire about it, and we have to tell them that they can't use it because it's not safe. So that was my only thing that I was concerned about, and then I know that they had some language going forward that they were going to work on it, but I don't know if it should be noted that it is not a safe space at the moment. And I did notice in the park also they mentioned that there was volleyball courts down there, and I believe those volleyball courts have been gone for several years.
Long time ago.
Yeah, so that is not an asset that we have down in the park.
I think the sand's there.
It's all there. Yeah, there's nothing down there. I know they said they toured it. Those were two things that I noticed that just weren't assets to the park.
I'll see if I can record it. Tricky part now is everybody's got to adopt the same copy, so I revise it and get it to everybody in time. I'll see what we can do.
It may just be small schematics that don't need to be revised. They were just things that I noticed that didn't exist anymore.
Do we have any imminent need to approve this now, or can we put it off to the next meeting until we get that fixed?
There isn't. If that's a reason for holding up, as much as it makes my eye twitch to adopt it with a couple of errors, I don't know.
I just wanted it to be an accurate description, so if anybody coming into the community or coming from an outside community say, oh, they have several volleyball courts there, maybe we can host this there, and then they get here and it's not. actually a feasible option.
It's your pleasure, if the council wants to make sure that that revision gets made, I would just have to, reach out to the school that I forget what dates they meet coming up, but the schools in the township to try to get the revisions made in their version. It may be simple enough to do.
Or could we adopt it, and is there a possibility to like add a disclaimer to the bottom or wherever it gets posted that we do not actually have volleyball court?
Yeah, sure.
Something like that, if it's easier to adopt it the way it stands,
Yeah,
you know?
either way.
Wait on it. We'll table this we'll get the corrections. You know, if somebody wants to have a big event, you know, bring in thousands of people, we'll dig some volleyball pits. But I don't see that.
Well, so I guess the only thing would be, I mean, I would have to get the township schools to adopt it with the corrections anyway in order to keep it on their upcoming agendas. So if you were to approve it with that condition, then those being the conditions of your approval, it had the same effect as waiting until next month and approving it with those changes. If those are the only two changes.
That was the only two things that stuck out to me that I was reading through.
If it pleases the council to approve it with those two corrections, I've got to do the same amount of work to try to get the township and the schools version updated too.
That would allow you to keep it on their agendas.
Right. Not yet.
Leaving Thursday and this following Monday, so.
Yes, that sounds right. I have something to do tomorrow. I was so worried.
I will approve the submittal of the Parks and Recreation Plan with those two corrections to the plan. Support.
The resolution 0222 has been motioned and supported with the two corrections as mentioned. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Alright. Motion carries. Let's see, request to reserve Showboat Park September 9th through the 11th for youth baseball softball tournaments. Mr. Cheetoff, would you like to say something?
Can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tom Teedoff. Thomas A. Teedoff. I live at 11285 West Peak Road, Chesapeake Township. I hope everyone's had a chance to read the proposal I've made to the council. Good. Well, I have some other things I want to add to that. And by the way, got a date change, and I hope you don't have anything scheduled for the 16th, 17th, and 18th of September.
We'll have to look at the.
I can't Halloween camp.
Yeah, it might be a Halloween camp.
Danielle.
But I was getting ready to. I was sneaking under the table to look exact dates. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I will look really quick.
I believe so, because the following weekend is the youth festival.
That's September or October.
I remember October.
But I feel like this is the weekend.
That really wouldn't interfere though, correct? Because they're not.
Yes, they absolutely would
The park is full
interfere.
all weekend.
The park is completely full. They use the downtown pavilion, or the lower pavilion. They use the space around the pavilions. We use the hill for pumpkin rolling. It would interfere.
What is the dates on that?
I'm gonna look. Go. You can finish yours.
I believe I looked at it. It starts the Monday after the original dates we were looking at and goes to that following.
So you're telling me those dates are open?
They are not
They
open.
are not open. Oh.
Kiwanis uses the park that following week for their Halloween camping fundraiser.
What about the following weekend?
I don't have all the resources to check that right now.
Okay. I was hoping to, so, what about the 9th, 10th, and 11th? Does that work?
Those were the original dates we discussed.
Yeah, that's fine. The reason I didn't want to have it there is because it's too close to Labor Day and the kids go back to school, and sometimes you don't get as many teams to come during that time, so I wanted to go that second week, or third week, I mean, and, when could you let me know if I could go the fourth week of September?
Probably let you know tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay, great. First, I would like to address the council and thank them for allowing me to name the main diamond in Showboat Park Champions Field after the teams that played there from '74 to '86. And thank you for making the marker saying so, and and what we accomplished in the league. That was one hell of a league we had in town, and we used to pack them in. That's when the days for Chesney was really booming. I believe that if this project is okay and you let me put on this tournament in September, I think we'll put people in town like we haven't seen since Showboat days. Businesses will flourish, especially restaurants, clothing stores, Ace Hardware, those type of things. The park will actually come alive with fun and excitement from these kids. There's a lot of laughter, a lot of screaming, crack of the bat, but there's just a lot of activity. The kids love it, playing travel ball. We have an ideal spot at the ideal time to capture, I think, funds that would support not only Showboat Park, but other things in the village. We have 5 beautiful diamonds. We have 3 concession stands from the Showboat days that we can use. We have a shower area, 2 sizable bathrooms, 2 pavilions, a playscape, disc golf, fishing, a walking trail, boat launch, basketball court, camping for hundreds and for campfires, volleyball, plenty of open space, parking. It's exactly what these teams are looking for. There's very few places in the state of Michigan that have what we have right down here. And I believe once we get them in, they will return time after time. Once they see what a beautiful park we have, and what great diamonds we have, and what great shape they will be in by the time that comes. I also, through the process, if it's okay with the council, I'm working on getting all the dugouts painted by a local painter. And if I can't make that work, I'll paint them myself. But they need to be cleaned up. They don't look well. They've never been painted. And it's going to need primer and maybe even 2 coats so it lasts a long, long time. And I'd like to use oil-based paint on that. It lasts so much longer and it looks so much nicer. Last year I mended the fences on the 2 Little League diamonds, so they're all ready to go. I believe I have enough material of my own that I can repair whatever needs to be done on the other 3 diamonds by September. I would like to make, by the way, the marker that you people gave me, I'm working on it right now in my shop. I'm going to encase it in hardwood, and it'll have a plexiglass front that's stronger than plexiglass. This stuff is unbreakable. So I don't want that thing to get, well, I gotta tell you a story about that. When the plaque came in, I called Phil and he said, well, I think it's down in the chamber. I came down here and it wasn't here, not the chamber, I mean the council. They directed me to the barn, DPW barn. I went out there, no, it's not there. They said, well, we hung it. Those guys took a crummy piece of plywood, put it on the west side of the dugout on that main diamond, and it's got a big scratch on it and had marks all over it. You can see where they messed up trying to put the screws in it. It ran all over the place. It's pitiful, but I don't want to get on those guys. They did the best they could. I managed to clean it up, and it looks really good. It'll look beautiful down there when I get it done. On the back side of that placard, or on the back side of that marker, I'm going to make a scoreboard for that field. It doesn't have a scoreboard, so I thought I'd utilize both sides of get 2 things out of one. I also would like to make 4 markers, scoreboards for the other 4 fields. I would like to paint the diamonds so they're color-coded. When these people come to these tournaments, they have a hard time figuring out where they're supposed to be playing. I'll give you an example. In Owasso last week, 2 weeks ago, we had 127 teams. They played it on 4 diamonds. 2 of them were lit, But they were, you know, they were 6 miles apart, so the people were always moving. They don't like that. We don't have to do that down here. Once we get them here, they're gonna stay here, which is what my intent is. But I would also like to color code all the dugouts when I paint them. That way people will be able to tell if they're playing on the red diamond, the blue diamond, the green diamond, the orange diamond, the yellow diamond, and the black diamond, whatever colors you guys would like, and I don't care where they go, just so they're all a different color. I would like to have this project, and I don't want to make you people mad, but I would like it to be a township project, and I'll tell you why. So it involves everybody, not just the people in the village. I would like to have all of our people involved in this, just like it was for Strobel. There is some things that I would need that would have to be addressed. Let me see where I'm at here. Well, right off the top of my head, we would need a welcoming committee. We would need a tournament director, is where I'd like to serve. We would need a committee to take care of umpires, the marking crew after each game. The diamond is dragged and it's re-lined. We'd have to have a crew for that. We'd have to have probably some car parkers. One question I have is how many electrical camping spots do we have in the park?
65. I think there's 65 electric sites. 63 or 65.
63, right.
Or 60, okay, it's 63 or 65.
Well, those will be taken, once this goes on the web, those will be taken early. What I wanna know is, would you allow primitive camping in the park? Now, we used to do that and park them along the river, and primitive. I believe money can be made there too. And what do you charge for a spot that's got electricity?
$25.
Jeez, that's not enough. You could make much more on these tournaments, believe me.
We don't have water, only electricity on the sites, which is why they're 25.
And that's in line with the state campground fees as well.
What?
That fee, the $25 is in line with the primitive or the non-sewer state campground sites as well. So fee-wise, we're pretty much in line with the state.
Well, that would be up to you guys. That's something you guys, or the committee would have to handle. But, you know, we got those old showboat concession stands. Though, I looked at those, they're in pretty good shape. And I think all of those could be.
Summer, there's some pretty good water damage in some of
I could probably come up with some guys to fix them up, to make them better. I could probably come up with
The main ticket booth is still good, the one up,
The Boy Scout,
Boy
not
Scout.
Boy Scout,
Boy
First
Scout.
Legion one.
the one right up next to the amphitheater
The old
is
band mistress on it.
Yeah, that's
dangerous.
most of the information I just gave you is in the proposal I gave to James this past week when I met James on the phone. There is some things that are needed down there. The Diamonds haven't had any attention as far as infield surface in years. We could use some infield surface down there. Possibly we can get some people in town to gather together and donate that. Another thing I would like to see done down there in time is to light the two back Little League diamonds. These people they love to play under the lights. They like to watch their kids play under the lights. It's a big thrill for them. We have one lighted diamond now. If we had three, then I could put even more teams in the park. I had a talk with Mike McGough yesterday, the superintendent of schools, and he likes the idea and said he would also support the effort and that he would allow me to use the two diamonds back there that they have at Chesing High School. If it would ever get as big where that would be needed. I also talked to Greg Brough, the chamber chairman. I'm on their agenda to speak next Saturday or next Thursday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Greg thinks it's a good idea too, and he's on board with it. This Wednesday, I speak to the Township Planning Commission at 7 p.m. Thursday, I addressed the township board and discussed the plan at 7 p.m. Today, I went to Highlight Farms. I'd like to get those people involved, and I'll tell you how. I went to Highlight Farms, and I've got a meeting to meet with Ben Shalali, Shalali or Shanani, or how is that pronounced? He's the project manager over there. He's the, what do I want to say? He's the head guy anyway. He's the son of Tom Shalani. I'm sure people have heard of Tom Shalani. Well, this is his son Ben, and he's the one that runs the Highlight Farm. And what I'm going to, and I had a talk with his secretary and one of his second or third in commands there, and I pitched the idea to them, and he thinks Ben will go for it. My idea is this. I'd like to see them get involved. You know, this town has a stigma. It has a bad rap right now. We need something positive in this town, something to bring kids in town, excitement, all that. And I'm going to ask Mr. Shalani if he would help us light the 2 back islands in Chilwell Park. I'm going to go to Eden Way and see if they want to get involved. Maybe they could partner up and pay for the whole thing. It's to put the electric back there is quite expensive, right around $60,000. So that is quite expensive, but I believe in the long run it will pay off. But like I say, the park needs a little sprucing up. Not much. The diamonds could use, like I say, some things. But you know, if the village can't afford, or you know, that's something else. I talked to Pete Hemsberg Sunday, and he tells me that there's some kind of grant that the township just received, and he believes that it'll cover such things as lighting for ball fields and stuff like that. So I've got kind of 2 shots at that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping it works out, but I'm going to pursue it anyway. Now for the news that you don't know about this project is this. On Thursday of last week, I invited a guy by the name of Mike M. IHM. He runs the hit and pitch program in Owasso, all the tournaments in Owasso. They run 2 a month from September to October. So that puts a considerable amount of people in town. And here's what Mike tried to talk me into. He says, he didn't call me an old man, but he says, you know, Tom, you're getting up there in age. You sure you can handle this? I said, yeah, I think I can. I did it when I was younger, and I know how to do it. I know all the rules. I know all the ins and outs. And he says to me, he says, well, I've got an offer for you. I said, what's that? He says, I would like to bring between 100, if you can get this date approved, he says, I would like to provide between 100, 125 teams for that tournament. He would provide the umpires, the equipment, the porta potties, the field crew, the EMT, insurance, and a tournament coordinator. So he would provide quite a bit. The one thing I would have, you know, I think I could put 40 to 50, maybe even 60 teams, but I don't have the resources right now. We're not on the web, we're not advertising, and I just don't know. I don't have enough names and addresses and phone numbers to do that. So this guy is going to put more in here, but we're going to make less money. If I did it, everything that we made, outside of what we had to pay the umpires and the field crew and pay for the porta johns and stuff like that, would come out of the park. I want absolutely nothing for doing this. The only drawback to it is this. He wants to have a 3-year contract with us, where he can rent those, or it's not called it yet, it's lease those diamonds for those certain dates. He would work with the village council, so we're not conflicting with other things that's going on in the park. And like I say, he's interested in running 2 a month from September to October. So that would be a total of 12 tournaments. So you can do the math on that. They charge $450 for those teams to play, which is a lot of money. When I played, you could get in for $100, $125. Now it's for these youths, it's $450. And this is probably the most popular thing going in America right now is travel ball. Travel ball is huge, huge. Like I say, they have them in Traverse City. They don't have it. We have. I've been up there. Our place is nicer. I've been to Port Huron. I've been to Detroit, Ann Arbor. I have 2 kids that are involved in travel ball, so I go to them all. And I see, I take notes, I look, I listen, I watch. And I've learned quite a bit about what it takes to make them work. And the main thing is getting the teams in here. Once we get them here, they'll see what a great, not only a great time, but what a great facility we have for this thing. Those diamonds have laid idle for too damn long. When I built those Little League diamonds back in, I think it was in '79 when we started, we finished in sometime in '80. But I had a great bunch of guys, volunteers that worked with me, and they just did I can't explain what a great job all those guys did to make those. When I first started coaching in Chesaning, after I quit playing softball, I couldn't believe the diamonds we had. It wasn't only unsafe, they were just dirty, crummy holes and pits and stones and everything. So I took it upon myself I wanted to put good playing fields for our kids forever, and we have that. They've been there for 42 years, and they're still in great shape. $450 is what he charges, and I asked him, I said, well, what are we going to make? He said, well, you're going to make a heck of a lot on camping. You're going to make a heck of a lot on vending, and each team will pay in their entry fee, or be outside of there, they will pay you $25 per team to lease the diamonds. So that's, we're not going to get rich by having this guy come in to do it. I think I can make us rich by doing it myself, because I think I could make more money by doing it myself than having this guy come in. But maybe it is a good idea to have someone with all that experience that he's got to come in for that first year anyway. Maybe we could talk him into something less than 3 years. I would like to have him come and speak to you people. He told me, just give me a call once you get the dates. He says, we'll start running. He says, your camping area will start getting hits immediately. Is there any questions?
Yeah, so
Sure.
this is, so the teams, like we have local teams, do they go to Owasso? Do they go around the state, or is it?
Our team's here from Chesaning.
Yeah.
We don't have a travel team. We do have a travel team in Owasso that my son-in-law coaches, and there are 4 or 5 girls from Chesaning, 3 from New Northrop. I would love to see Chesaning have a travel team.
So it's from all over the state, though?
Oh, it's all over the state.
Okay.
All over the state.
And then the state turns going to different locations. So in Owasso, it's, you say September and October, but maybe it's July and August somewhere else? Or is it usually just in that one spot?
No, they have them continuously all over the place, but a lot of times, if we're smart with our scheduling, and we can get a hold of information where all of these tournaments are located in the state, and I'll tell you what, even out of state, they're getting teams from Indiana, Ohio, Canada. So it's just a matter of getting in the loop. And there's if you ever watched the movie Field of Dreams, there's a line in there that says, if you build it, they will come. Well, folks, we've already got it built, and I'm sure they'll come if you allow me to do this.
So it's from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
No, that's
So it's basically an AAU circuit.
similar.
Based on it.
Similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then a month or so ago, we talked to a gentleman who wanted to raise funds to upgrade the main diamond.
Softball. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's all. That's the league in town, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
I haven't talked to them yet, but I'm going to.
Because you'd be utilizing that field as well, right?
Yes, all 5 of them.
Yeah.
And the 2 at the high school if needed.
And that's what I thought I remember. So I mean, it might be worth figuring out financially where he can, or where you guys can come together.
Sure. And that's another thing. We could offer banners to the local business owners if they wanted to advertise down there. For instance, Matt at the riverfront, his business will jump on these tournament dates. I haven't talked with Matt yet, but I'm going to get there. I want to talk to several of the merchants in town. But they'll be able to, if they want to, get on board and support this. They could get put a shingle up down there, so to speak, about their business. Or, we got that big pavilion. You could run other things along with this for these tournaments. They do that. They do the thing where you throw the bag. They have those tournaments going on at the same time. They have the horseshoes. at some of these. So there's a lot of things you could throw in with this. And there's so much for the kids to do in the park. That's the key.
Right.
Because all
Let me
these-
speak, please. Logistically, though, it shuts the park down for anybody to use twice a month, correct?
On the
Because
weekends.
there's, yeah, I mean, that's two
No,
times.
it doesn't shut the park down. They can come down. But you know, nobody else can.
But with 125 teams, logistically speaking, you're going to be utilizing almost every green space down there for parking or picnics or whatever else.
Boy, we got so much room down there.
Right, but we also have an 18 hole golf course
Right.
that's down there that throws across a lot of the green space that's down there. So
Well,
logistically, it would have to be worked out, I think, because the public should still be able to use the park as it functions normally, without having to work around every other weekend
yeah. Well,
tournaments.
we don't have to go twice a week. We could do what we want. That's why I'd like to be the tournament director. I believe someone from the village should be the director because, after all, they are our diamonds. Even if they're leasable, they're our diamonds. So I think we need to take care of business for us. But this Mike M is a great guy. I'd like to have him come and talk to you. If you guys approve.
I'm sorry, do you think you have enough time to put together your committee, find your grounds crew, find everything you
Absolutely.
need between now and
Absolutely.
September?
Yes, I can. However, like I say, I might be recommending to you people to take Mike M's offer. Let him bring in the big teams so we get in the loop. Let us get recognized. Let us get teams in here. They'll come back, I guarantee it. But I guess I don't, but if you have more questions, I'd be more than glad to answer them. Anything about, but I have experience. I know all the rules and regulations. I know I could run this, and I know I could make a lot more money for the village. But maybe for these, at least for this, I wish we could just get him to come in 1 year, or this year, and then maybe next year too. And then after that, do our own thing, and we could really reap the benefits.
I think the first thing we gotta check on those dates.
Is this approval just going to be for the September weekend?
Yeah.
We're not committing, I mean,
If I can, yeah,
this is a lot.
there's a lot of details to be worked out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend we try to do that here tonight. Essentially, it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. He needs to know that the council generally supports the idea and is willing to dedicate some dates to the park to it. I can take it from there and work with him, work with Mr. M, whoever, and get into the nitty gritty details and making sure everything's in order, all the logistics are taken care of. Knowing that you're supportive of the idea. And maybe even the idea that it is, we're going for one Hallmark event, softball event a year, and for 1 weekend, the whole park may be out of commission.
Right.
A la Showboat or some other huge event like that. So that's, I guess the question for you tonight is, are we barking up the right tree here? And if, with your conditional approval for me to iron out the rest of the details to make sure that I'm looking out for the interests of the village and the council, that's done well, and it's something we can take pride in. That's what we are looking for tonight.
If I was to do this myself, direct the whole tournament myself with a committee, I'd have to have help with. Does the village have liability down there?
We require people to get their own liability insurance for their own events.
Okay, well, that covers it with him because he has the liability insurance. That's what I'm speaking about. He has more tools than I have.
Is this just for the September event, or is this for the?
Just for the September.
He's also involved in the September event?
Yes.
Okay,
Maybe.
okay.
But I've worked with guys that didn't know Wausau leagues, and he runs a ton of stuff,
Right.
and they go everywhere.
I'm just
they
trying to
do
figure out
everything.
if we're specifically speaking September
All
or
we're
if
talking about is just
Okay.
September. We gotta get the dates from
Right.
Mr. teed off and cut it loose. It's like letting a badger go in a hen of chicken, a house of chickens. I have the utmost faith he'll get it done the way he wants to get it done.
For sure.
But like his suggestion to use M is not a bad suggestion. to try to establish something.
No, for sure.
That Tom can take over and put more of the funds into the village, the township together to make our ball diamonds better. And once people know we're doing stuff, that's fine. So, but to your point, I don't want to give it away all the weekends. We're not doing that yet.
No, that's why I'm
Just
just
September.
trying to follow along, because he was here and here, and I'm making sure that I understand fully before I make a vote. And it's okay that I need to understand what he's talking
I'm
about.
sorry, I
Not
don't
all
want
of
to
us
mislead
follow at the
anybody,
same level.
and that's another thing, I want this thing, out in the open, I'm very transparent. I don't want it to look like I'm, overwhelming and trying to push this thing.
No, not at all. I was just
think
trying to
it's a
understand
great-
where he came in, and if it was strictly for, if he was only going to do the every other weekend idea, or if he was also involved in the September.
He would work
That
with
was
us on
it.
that.
That's all I was trying to gather.
If I can't, just to clarify, you updated your fee schedule with the last budget. Camping sites, the improved modern sites are 33, I think, per night now, and the rest are closer to 30. So that's where you're at. So the action for tonight is to conditionally approve one of two possible weekends, the 9th through 11th, or the 23rd through the 25th. We can work on that. And
Yeah, that's where I need to start from.
yeah.
Is this gonna be a cost to the village, based on what he's requiring or requesting?
I don't think there'll be much cost to the village, I'll be honest with you.
Because we turned down one league that we were not gonna inquire any cost to them.
Right.
So,
I would not be looking to, some of these investments through donations would be wonderful. I think we have to do a proof of concept here before and after a couple of years of track record, if we sort of see the trend, then you talk about making more investments possibly to, where it will cash flow. Based on campground revenue, based on
And we'll probably have to get down there before March some approved parking areas.
yes, those are the logistics of it. Lots and lots of details.
That's a big part.
School
That's a
would
big
run a
part.
shuttle. There's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, if it works out, I wanted to bring this idea to the council 2.5 years ago, but I got sick, with cancer, and I have renal cell carcinoma, stage 4, but I feel great. I have a few
You
other
really
things that's
look
wrong
great,
with
Tom.
me, but,
I just wanna add
I
that.
feel great, and I'll tell you something, I'm the kind of person that I need something to do, I need a project. It keeps me occupied, I don't think about what I have. It helps me, so it's psychologically good for me, and I think it could work out very well for the village. Thank you guys very much, I appreciate your time.
Thanks.
Thanks.
So it was, September 9th through the 11th, or the 23rd through the 25th, depending on what's available.
Oh, I'm sorry, one more thing, please. I'd like to get on the agenda for your next council meeting, and I would like to have him come with me and speak with you.
I think.
Unless you would rather have him come and speak with you and myself.
I think we can start with that. I can meet with him and you and figure out what the.
Yeah, once I get the information to him and he knows what the dates are, I'll ask him, James, and I'll have him come up and we'll get together and talk about it.
Sure.
Does everybody know what's going on?
Yep.
Okay.
So motion to approve the reservation for the Showboat Park conditionally between the 11th, 9 through 11, or the 23rd
To the
through 25th for the youth softball baseball tournaments.
Support.
Motion,
Oh, and by the way, this is for girls and boys. It's girls from 11 to 14 and boys from 9 to 12. Just so because I think that's important to, the girls are actually overtaking the boys in the state. There's more girls teams than there's boys teams, which is amazing to me.
hold up now. All right, so we have a motion on the floor and approval to provisionally approve September 9th through 11th, or the 23rd through the 25th, depending on what our schedule looks like. All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The parking, or the camping is the 12th to the 18th.
Wallace is.
Yes.
the agenda is police department funding agreement, Chesapeake Township. This happens every year. I believe this year they've given us $3,600.
Same amount, the only change is you won't have to do it every year afterwards.
Oh, right.
It'll just sustain until
So we,
somebody terminates or changes it.
with the cost of living increase every year, right? What's it, about 4.5%?
I tried.
I believe we do need to accept that, though. Would anybody like to make a motion to accept
I will
that?
motion to accept the police department funding agreement with Chesapeake Township.
Support. Motion has been made and supported to approve the police department funding agreement. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on into committee reports, infrastructure.
Got a meeting tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
All right. Finance and admin. Okay, public safety, DDA.
Next meeting, May 11th.
Okay. Chamber is meeting this Thursday or next Thursday? Next Thursday, right. Planning.
Maybe.
Airport. Did they figure out their line and mall? That's still working.
It's on the work list.
Mine.
Yeah, they're sending all the moles over to the fire department.
Good. Some of them maybe.
Where we got trouble with moles?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Tom, does anybody know Tom? Let me tell you about, yes.
Yeah.
You know, just take a ride down the
Yeah.
road town.
Tom, we could
Make
use
it
you
the field.
over there. We could use you.
I have a business where I remove
Yes.
moles. I don't do it
Yes.
anymore
Why
because
did
of
I
my
not
health.
think of this
But
before?
if the village has got a place that's really bad, I
Right.
can tell them about it.
Airport.
Airport.
Very
He
bad.
is phenomenal.
So I'll take a look at that and, I'll let you know on that. I have a golf cart that I can use to go from trap to trap out there, so I can run a trap line, and, I should be able to knock them all in the head in 3 days.
I think a lot of people will be very happy for that.
If you've got any other spots in the village, I used to do the cemeteries, all the schools, the parks.
You still do the golf course?
I did the golf course.
Well, once
I
they
killed
get that,
thousands of moles out there.
they'll
But I also took their skunks, possums, and coons out too, so.
Jet Tool's whole front is mole right now.
So where's the other place, Steve?
Right, Jet Tool right across from the runway in the airport. The whole front is nothing but mole hills. You look at both sides, and this goes on every year. And Chris was doing it last year. He was running traps and going out every day. But they eventually go over to the middle school too. They work their way right over to the middle school.
Over the middle school?
Yeah.
Well, I did that like 3 years ago, and, they must be back.
But yes, the airport. The airport's amazing. Just drive down and look.
I will.
It's,
I'll go out there down.
Look right across.
Because I can definitely help you out.
Yeah, if you go down the road, just look right across the street at Jetfield. The whole front is like nothing but hills. I feel worse for them than the airport. They got more space.
I'll take a look at it for you guys.
Fireboard?
Had 5 runs, total of 63. We had our, last Saturday, we had electric vehicle training, went really good. This past weekend, we had wetland training for wildfires. The golf outing is going really good. And the next party board meeting is next Wednesday at 6 o'clock.
Have you figured out if you're gonna give away that Humvee for prizes to go?
No, we thought we'd give Matt's car away.
No, nobody's gonna want that thing. Task force?
I did not attend the meeting.
At this time, we'll open the floor to public statement, limited to 3 minutes. Questions from the board will be recorded, may be answered at the following meeting. Ensuring council members have the time to confirm the accuracy of any answer, which shall not be interpreted as a means to explore dialogue. First up, Mike Navarre.
I'll pass.
Okay. Joe Wasmiller. Please state your name and full address.
Joe Wasmiller, 8965 Bishop Road, St. Charles, 48657. 48655. I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a candidate for the new District 6 County Commissioner. Just wanted to let you know I'm an Albany Township resident, been in Albany Township my whole life. I'm on the Albany Township Board, served on a lot of boards over time. I was president of Michigan Corn Growers, I was on the national board. I was on the Saginaw Prairie Farm Cooperative Board as president, and several county committees I've been on. The one I'm on currently is Mid-Michigan Waste Authority. So, I'm married, 3 kids, farmer, been a farmer my whole life. So, I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you.
Are you running as a Democrat?
Yes, I am.
You are.
Tom Tito?
I already did.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay. Rod Toma?
Rod Toma, 8167 Flower Drive. Just a couple questions. I was wondering if there was an update on the odor monitors.
I have not heard. And I know one of their people just left, so I don't know who we're even talking to.
Yeah, there's a change of leadership and there's not a new,
There is no new guy.
not yet.
Or are they just waiting for still the part, or?
Last we heard is that they had the part and then they needed, so many days of monitoring to get a baseline. They should have that by now, they just don't have, leadership yet.
And I wanted to ask, with the moratorium coming up to an end next month, has anybody visited the Augrey to study the cannabusters?
No, we haven't, but we keep talking about it. We just haven't got out there. We have to figure out the logistics of getting the whole council up there to see it. Either we split it up over 2 days, or I'm not sure how we're gonna do it if we all need to be there on site, because technically it's a meeting, so then we have to publish it and do all kinds of other stuff. So it's either we split it up into little groups, or figure out a way to get us all up there at the same time, which would be better, honestly.
Or do you see this doing it before the moratorium ends?
I hope so. That'd be ideal.
Well,
I
that's
really
what the
don't want to
moratorium was,
extend the moratorium.
Put it in place because you guys wanted to study it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I understand.
I know, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yes?
Yasmin Wertz, 320 Brady Street. My question's along the same lines as Rod. I was wondering, just as a question of curiosity, what the status of the odor ordinances are that are being drafted.
That's our first thing to tackle, and we haven't quite gotten there yet. There should be a survey going out shortly.
Yeah, the marijuana regulation plan update that we talked about here a couple months ago. Well, the first piece was actually the survey, and I was going to talk about that in my report later, if I can say. But that's the main focus right now is the citizen survey, and that's about to be sent out. So I can talk more on that later.
So you're going to tell us in a few minutes when that's going to be sent out. And then when the survey has been taken, then what's the next step?
Then the board would have to look at the results of the survey and deliberate on policy decisions to be made. And there's a number of them in that regulation update plan. Marijuana ordinances, zoning ordinances, some things that have to be updated.
So do you have sort of a timeline you're thinking of at all?
That it's as I spoke to it before, I can't give you a timeline because I keep getting pulled into other things. And so I just sort of took off the ones that I can do at a time. We do have a moratorium coming up at the end of June based on the survey results coming in. I imagine that, we would look at what we have in front of us. The council decide whether they need a little bit more time to study those results and make decisions about policies before they lift the moratorium or enact new policies. Those will all be council decisions coming in the future.
And I guess I want to follow up with Rod's other question about the trip up to Augrey. Would you consider making that a priority to organize that somehow and
Yeah.
get up there and get it, make that busy?
Yep.
Thank you.
I think we're all gonna stay here, place. Is that it, yeah?
I'm sorry.
Was that the end of your question?
Yes.
Okay. Terry and Frank Kuklis?
Well, I just wanted to bring to light that, we are beyond the year now, that you guys have had the suggestions from the committee that worked on ideas for the marijuana ordinance changes. April 20th, I believe, was the day that it was presented to this council. And just like Yaz and Rod said, we'd like to see at least some action happening. A whole another year has gone by now, and this has been well over 2 years in process.
No. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to council member statements. Any council member wishing to make a statement?
I would like to commend Danielle and the Kiwanis Club. The daddy-daughter dance went very well. Looked like the turnout was very large and welcoming.
230 girls and their chaperones.
And say thank you for not sending slime home with my child.
230
Wow.
girls with their chaperones.
And I didn't get a mermaid pen, so we're even.
The mermaid pens this time were afterthoughts. I had handmade 200 bracelets to be worn as corsages. And on Thursday alone, I apologize, Wednesday alone, we had 78 people fill out a Google Doc saying that they were coming. Our numbers were great. I was about 40 or 50 bracelets ahead of where I needed to be, so I had a few for people that just showed up, and superseded that by about 30. It was pretty wild. Definitely was not expecting that type of turnout. Our fishing tournament, on the other hand, we had 95 9 and under participants and 51 10 to 16 participants.
I really thought it would have been more.
I did. I think there was a lot going on. We had soccer that weekend. We had flag football that started that weekend. I believe there was turkey opening day of turkey season. There was a couple other small things that were going on. So, and it was really the first very nice weekend day. So I think that probably pulled some people away. But still, everybody had a lot of fun. There was a lot of fish caught. I don't have a final number. I think the largest fish caught was 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Gave away a lot of prizes, 2 kayaks, some money. It was great. Great day.
It was a great day.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
The filter in Nebraska looks great throughout the neighborhood. It's good to see them leveling that out, so good job to that crew. And I just wanted to backtrack for a minute and just state, I'm equally frustrated with the lack of action for the last year. We've been talking about these things since I joined this council. We still have no work on ordinances. We have committee meetings that aren't being attended. The cannabusters, I've been tongue-in-cheek talking about this lost unicorn that we don't seem to be able to find. I'm just, what recourse do we have with High Life? They've been promising, and really they're holding all the cards. I mean, what do we have? We don't have leadership. We don't have the part. We don't have, and here we sit doing nothing. The survey is all well and good, but I brought forth a moratorium. We extended it. We're getting into the summer months where attendance tends to decline. Several council members go on vacation. I know I have a couple days I'll be gone. But what are we doing? And it's nothing. And fellow educators, happy Teacher Appreciation. It was a long day.
I have a question. I see you have a Parks and Recreation Committee now, is that true?
No, we do not.
Oh, you don't? Well, I see you have a Parks and Recreation plan, or
That's a 5-year plan.
It's a 5-year plan.
5-year plan, when did that come out?
We've had that,
5 years ago it started, wasn't it?
yeah, it's at least.
And then it's being updated now, that's what we was talking about.
Oh, I see. I just wanted a copy of it.
It's on the website. There's a link to it on the website, I believe, isn't there?
Right on the homepage it is.
If not, you can print them all. No, this section.
Kill a small tree, but.
That's fine. We have.
It's on the township website, too, John.
All right, any other council member? No, okay, village staff reports, village administrator.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Just highlight a couple things. The campground reservation system, the new online system is online as of this afternoon. And even before we were able to announce on Facebook, we got like 7 reservations. And so, of course, paying attention, and it's up there to use. Super user friendly, and we'll look forward to be able to see how it grows. I do want to come to the defense of our good friends in the DPW. The sign for Champions Field did come in, and the plan all along was to frame it and plexiglass it. It wasn't up there very long for that to happen before we had a benefactor come on to try to do that now. But that was the plan, and I think they were doing a fine job with that. I will be absent from the next meeting. We had an 8th grade band concert, and each year we get older, it sounds more and more like music. So, those are my highlights. Happy to answer any other questions.
Okay. Anybody have questions for him? All right, Chief Short.
Council received my full staff report. I'll just go over a few highlights of the report. Last month we had 119 traffic stops, 37 citations were issued. We had 2 warrant arrests, 2 assaults we took, 3 break-in and enterings, 9 civil complaints, 3 disorderly persons, 2 family troubles. They did 877 premise checks, 5 suspicious situations, and we took 5 traffic crashes. Over the past month, officers and reserves have been busy attending events in town. We were able to be at the Easter egg hunt, the soccer tournament, and this past weekend, the reserves provided security and traffic control out at the dog show at the fairgrounds, which was a huge event. They started out at 5:45 in the morning, the reserves out there directing traffic. It was, this was the 2nd year they've had it, but it keeps growing. So our services will be needed as that continues to grow. We had several more drug arrests the past month with drugs off the streets, and which led to arrests, so I'm very happy with that. And Mr. Titoff, I want to extend our services and reserves. They love to do volunteer work, so if you need assistance with anything, let me know.
Oh boy, thanks.
And yeah, absolutely, and we can help you out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any progress on the new trailer?
It's going back to the fairgrounds to be worked on. Oh, but the new Tahoe should be back within 2 weeks as well. It's getting outfitted at program, so fingers crossed, 2 weeks on that.
Were the B&Es home or a vehicle?
Home. Or suspected B&Es, but we cover it under B&Es.
Oh, I see. Good idea. Thanks, Chief.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion has been made and supported to adjourn. All those in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?